What's up, peeps? Julian Williams here with the distance video for you guys this evening. This one is the mailbag question. This was to me sent to me on Twitter. The question I got was: Is Gennady Golovkin the best 160 pounder in the world? So this is a question I have to answer with very serious caution. Due to the fact that, of course, as boxing fans or fans of sports in general, we're gonna live in the moment, and we're not going to look at what have you done in the sport over the last few years. We're going to look at what have you done for me lately. So that's the main thing that we all are looking at. We all look at as boxing fans. So to get into the video, of course, the man at 160 is Sergio Martinez. Even though he had a terrible performance against Martin Murray in a close fight, I'm still going to say he's the man at 160 because he hasn't lost that title convincingly. I know he's coming off an injury. His timing's off. However, over the last few years, he's been unstoppable. He's been untouchable. So, 2010, of course, he went in there in April 19, 2010. He defeated Kelly Pavlik. He got his WBC and WBO and Ring Magazine belts. He fought Paul Williams, knocked him out. He fought Sergey Zinzert, defeated him. Darren Barker, defeated him. He fought Matthew Macklin, defeated him. And Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. defeated him. Even after that, that 12-round triumph, he's been fighting talent. He's been fighting other talent, and he's been basically cleaning that division. Left and right. You got Darren Barker, and Matthew Macklin, who both, are decent talent out of the UK. Matthew Macklin had given Felix Sturm a troublesome fight prior to fighting Martinez. We all knew that Lou DiBella wasn't going to hesitate to get Macklin in the ring with Martinez after he signed him summer 2011. So, that was something that was quite obvious. And then on the other hand, fans for a couple years, been demanding since Chavez defeated Sebastian Zibik in June of 2011, like, when's he going to step in the ring against Martinez? And he went in and he defeated him. After Chavez went in, he was knocking everybody out or looking good in fights. He defeated him. And then he fought Martin Murray. I think he had surgery on his knee, and he just didn't look too good. He looked his age. So at this point, I'm still emphasizing on Martinez because I still think that he's the man at 160. But on the other hand, you have Gennady Golovkin, who's made vast improvements and made the middleweight division a must-see division at this point. He's one of he's the fighter now that we want to see Sergio fight. And Gennady Golovkin has looked good in fights. He fought Kasim Uma about 2 years ago. Stopped him. Improved vastly since that fight. He faced Lawan Simon, Nobuhiro Ashida, Gregor Proksa. Matthew Macklin knocked him out in like 2 or 3 rounds. In 3 rounds. And Gabriel Rosado. So if you look at these, if you kind of look at the resumes, if you look at both resumes, of course Sergio is going to look much better because he's been the champion a little bit longer. However, Golovkin looks good taking out talent, on the other hand. So I'm still going to say that Sergio Martinez is the best fighter at 160. I might be crazy to say that. However, it's like the Ric Flair era in the NWA in the 80s. To beat the man, you got to beat. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Gennady Golovkin has to fight Sergio Martinez in order to be the best 160-pound fighter. Sergio's the top draw. So I would say Sergio Martinez is still the number one middleweight in the world. Golovkin's right behind him. So I think that Sergio needs, to be honest with you, I think Sergio needs to fight in a few fights. He needs to fight a couple fights before he fights Golovkin and cashes out. Because he just looked so off in his last fight against Martin Murray. You'll never know. It could have been the style. Who knows? But his movement was a little slow. His timing with his hands and with his angles were off. He just didn't look good in that fight. So I mean, against the Gennady Golovkin, he's definitely gonna have to up the ante a hell of a lot. But I still will say Sergio is number one. But I think that I think after a couple more fights, depending on who they both fight, I mean, it's going to be fair game. I think that Martinez might be one of those, might have the dubious distinction of being the fighter that loses his number one spot while he's still winning. And it can happen. So anyway, peeps, let me know what you think. I'm out of here. That was the distance. Peace.